Hey guys, I'm back again finally after a very long break, it felt like to me, but I had a lot of problems. Okay, first problem I had, my MacBook hard drive crashed when I was trying to put Yosemite onto it. It wouldn't have it. So yeah, the hard drive is completely gone, so they put me a fresh new hard drive, and now they're trying to recuperate from my crashed hard drive, you know, all the little bits and pieces. Hopefully they can put something together. I don't know. So with all of that, and then the week of Christmas, I was at my mother-in-law's, so you know what it is, offline for 1 week, no internet, not even next to the wall of the neighbor who has internet with the iPad trying to get online. No, none of that was working. So yeah, so I was offline and my reading was completely off, but I did manage to read some things. I'm not so sure I'm going to finish my goal, unfortunately, for this year, which was 55 books. I still have 2 left, and I have still 2 books that I have not finished reading. So it looks like those, I'm just going to finish reading them in January, and then I'll come back with a review of that. And, you know, because it just is what it is. You know, I'm like preoccupied. So I'm here with my top 10 of 2014. Now this was, yeah, I think it was pretty easy for me to choose my top 10. Now they're in no particular order other than the fact of the order in which I read them, meaning from January to the end of the year. So let's get started. So first, this isn't going to be a surprise for you guys. The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde. Yeah, this book is fantastic. If you haven't picked it up, it's really worthwhile reading. I loved everything about it. The historical aspect of the Dominican Republic. I loved Oscar Wilde. He's just a great guy. All the other men in the story, they're pretty much jerks and, you know, sexist, misogynist, and all the rest of it. But it is a very good in-depth look into a family, you know, the different generations. So the mother, the sister, the brother. It's a really good story. Next, well, you know this one. Americanah, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I mean, this book came out in 2013, but I read it at the beginning of this year in January. No, in February I read this one. This book is fantastic. I mean, it's a love story, but it's a love story with a lot more going on in it. And I think if you haven't picked this one up, you were really missing out on something. It's just a fantastic story. I mean, look at all the tabs I have, because she was just blowing my mind, and she was making me say yes, yes, you know, every 5 seconds. So yeah, get on this one if you haven't read it yet. Apparently someone has bought the rights to make this into a movie. I can't remember who it is, so right now, if you remember who that is, link it below. That could be interesting to see what someone could do with this as a movie. All right, my next one was actually a choice of it was a choice from the International Reads Book Club over on Goodreads, which is managed by Mercedes over at Mercy's Bookish Musings, and it is called In the Shadow of the Banyan. And it's by Vadi Ratner, and let me tell you, that was a 5-star one, that one for me. Also, so was Americanah, but in the Shadow of the Banyan was a 5-star one for me, and it was mostly because of the writing. It was beautiful, and it's written by someone who speaks English as a second language, and it's just beautifully told, a story. Very sad, very heart, you know, wrenching, gut wrenching, terrible things you have to read about in the story, because it takes place in Cambodia, and it's during the rule of the Khmer Rouge, and it is just an amazing story. And it's fiction, you know, it's fictionalized story, but it's beautifully told. So if you haven't picked that one up and you're interested in knowing a little bit more about that time period in Cambodia, that would be a good place to start because it is fictionalized. Okay, the next one I picked up was The Complete Collected Poems of Maya Angelou, and I love this edition. Now, I picked this one up right after her death because I didn't have any books from her with her poems. I only had one, I think, one little tiny one. But this is fantastic. Now, I think I've read through this book this year at least 3 times. I've read almost completely through this book. The poems in this book are just, this is like quintessential Maya Angelou. If you don't own this and you like poetry, then you better get somebody to buy you this and get it in this edition, this hardback edition. Because you will be reading this your entire life. You will go back and you will reread and you'll reread. It's just really good. Next on my list, which is not going to be a surprise, is Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay. You know all about this one because everybody's mother, brother, and dog has reviewed it and talked about it. So I'm not going to say much else about it. You know, it's very good. It's easy to read. It's got a lot of pop culture references. Roxane Gay is the bandwagon that's rolling past my house every day, but I had already gotten on it before that bandwagon came up. But anyway, if you haven't jumped on, I say jump on. It's kind of interesting. All right, the next one is another 5-star I gave out, which is We Are All Completely Beside Ourselves. Now, this is a little, I would say, controversial in the fact that there's half the people that think this is a really good book, and then there's a lot of other people that think it's not so well written and it's not so good, and they wonder why the Man Booker judges decided to put this one up. But I can see that this book has a lot going for it, and a lot more than, you know, the people that don't seem to like it give it credit for. I think it's a well-written book. I don't think it's convoluted. I think the storyline is easy to follow. I like the main character because she has plenty of faults, but she's endearing. And that's all I'm going to say. Pick it up. It's really, really good. My next 5-star, you know this one, Another Country. James Baldwin is the man for me at the moment. This book, oh la 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 la. I just kept saying, wow. James Baldwin was such a fantastic writer. This one takes place in the 50s. I think it's the early to mid 50s. But when you read this, there are a lot of themes in here that are very current and very real to today. And, you know, I think if you've picked up James Baldwin and you've picked up Giovanni's Room, I say great. You picked up Giovanni's Room, but you need to go just a bit further because you need to get into the real James Baldwin, like Another Country, The Fire Next Time, you know, Tell Me How Long the Train's Been Gone. You need to really get into the good stuff. And Another Country is another fantastic work from him. Pick it up. 5 stars. Next, you know this one, how much I loved it. NW, you know how much I love Zadie Smith. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I docked it the half star because of the ending. I just thought, oh, Zadie, you almost had a perfect book there. But the ending, no ma'am. You got to do something with that ending. But, you know, like I said, pick this up if you can with the audiobook. It's very worthwhile reading. It's very interesting. And the audiobook gives that extra flavor of the accents from the different places that you need to really appreciate this book to the fullest. Now, the next one, oh boy. Brown Girl Dreaming. Come on, guys. This is the bandwagon you need to get on. This book, oh my God. First of all, it's beautifully published. Okay. Beautifully published. And Jacqueline Woodson, this is the first Jacqueline Woodson I've read, but I think I'm going to go pick up some more of her stuff because So I've had people tell me about Jacqueline Woodson and say, oh, pick her stuff up. She's really, you know, she's a really good writer and everything. And I just, you know, because it was a lot of middle grade and YA that she writes, and I usually don't get into that kind of thing, you know, I haven't picked it up. And there I picked this one up, and it is so beautifully written in verse. And, you know, she speaks so real and truth about her family members and about the time period, and it's just a really, really good book. It reads extremely fast, of course, because it's middle grade, but what is so fantastic about it is that she really does know how to capture a feeling and a moment in very few words, and that's not something that a lot of writers really know how to do. And on top of it, she's doing it to appeal to younger children, you know, so this middle grade age or even YA age. And I think that is the miracle of Brown Girl Dreaming. And it's really, you know, this is a 5-star book. 5-star, 2014 release. Get on it. And don't buy it in any other edition but this one, because you'll want to keep that one. Last but not least, it's A Family by J. California Cooper. This is a 5-star book as well. The book is actually 231 pages, and let me tell you, this reads like, you could read this like in a morning or afternoon. The font size is really big. The margins are kind of big as well. But this story was so powerful and touched me in so many ways and broke my heart to the core. I don't think I've read a narrative in this way with this much sensitivity and perfect phrasing. I'll give you an example of the first line of the book. It says, "History lived, not written, is such a thing not to understand always, but to marvel over. Time is so forever that life has many instances when you can say once upon a time, thousands of times in one life." J. California Cooper, guys. This is the author that has been virtually not spoken about, who is very popular in the African American community, that hasn't gotten the acknowledgement in the literary circles that she should have gotten. She was a fantastic writer. She had a lot of things to say about life, living, humanity, family, love, everything. So I suggest this is a good place to start with J. California Cooper as well, or you could start with Homemade Love. That one is very good too. But this one is definitely a 5-star must read from J. California Cooper. So that is all I have for you. That is my top 10 of 2014. I've been watching everybody else's, and they've all been very edifying and interesting. I've been taking notes and, you know, making my TBR longer and longer. So I will be back with another video to start off 2015 with a bang. I hope you guys have a great New Year's Eve, and I'll be back with you in the beginning of the year.